These are the plaintiffs, Jennifer and Louis Figueroa. Jennifer says she rented a portable air conditioner for a lavish baby shower she was throwing herself in celebration of her second child. 10 minutes after the defendant set it up, the thing started blowing hot air. That's right. Something that was supposed to cool the place down was actually heating it up. It was unbearable. She's 9 months pregnant, ready to pop, and the hot-headed defendant threatened her after she started complaining. They're suing here and now for the return of their $298.72 because what's right is right. This is the defendant, John. He says he checked the brand new unit before he left and everything was fine as it was, blowing cold air and cooling the tent they erected. Next thing he knows, the party's over and the plaintiff stole the air conditioning unit. They actually removed the thing and refused to give it back. He went to the cops. They got the unit back and it worked fine. The plaintiffs are just trying to pull a fast one on him by suing today. He's accused of being full of hot air.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Jennifer and Louis Figueroa, you are suing John. You've asked us not to use your last name. Are we permitted to use your corporate name?
Correct.
Okay, let's party tent for $298.72, the amount that you paid him for a portable air conditioner that you say did not work. Okay, what's going on?
Well, it was my baby shower was coming up. It was June 23rd. I was 9 months pregnant and it was very hot. So I was having my baby shower. It was going to be hot. So about 2 days before the event, I was getting a little panicked. So I said, let me look online and see if I can find someone to rent me an air conditioner that was suitable to, cool off the tent that I have my event at.
Okay, where did you have the event?
At Fox Halloween in Woodbury.
And they didn't have their own units?
No, we were not. That was understood from the beginning that,
they would not be providing that.
Exactly.
All right, so it's getting warm. It's how hot out?
It's in the 90s and it's 2 days before the event. And
Right.
I had been very uncomfortable just being pregnant in that heat. So I said, I want to make sure my guests are comfortable as well. I looked online and that's where I found the defendant. I gave him a call. I said, I'm really looking to rent an air conditioner. What kind of price do you have available?
Do you have the paperwork from the rental of the air conditioner with the defendant?
Yes, I have the party.
Do you have the paperwork from the party itself?
Not
the
from
baby
the party
shower?
itself, no.
Okay, let me see.
Thank you.
One portable AC unit. That's all it says. Not the BTUs, wouldn't there be something else to identify how big it's supposed to be, how powerful it's supposed to be, what kind of an area it can cool off?
No.
Well, I say yes, and I'm going to tell you why, because in a minute I know that this is going to end up being an issue here, isn't it?
Not for the size tent that the young lady told me that it was going in.
Yeah, but that's going to be an issue, isn't it? Because you don't write, that's my point, you don't write the size tent in this contract, do you?
No, because I didn't rent them the tent.
No, I understand that, but you rented them something that's supposed to be, according to them, good enough to cool off a certain size tent.
I'm going to say it was suitable for her size tent that she told me
Which is what?
A 10 by 20.
Right, and so if you had 10 by 20, here, watch this. Did you ever tell me you had a 10 by 20 tent?
Yes.
Oh, you did? Oh, so your tent was 10 by 20? Well, you got lucky. So your tent was 10 by 20?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so now you go that day to drop off the AC, and according to you, the tent is not 10 by 20.
It's not. I've done this numerous times. That tent was probably double or bigger than a 10 by 20.
How big do you think the tent was?
Probably about a 20 by 40 or possibly a 20 by 60.
So you come in, and when you see that, what do you tell her?
I didn't tell her. I told the plaintiff's husband that your wife told me this was a 10 by 20 tent, and it's not a 10 by 20. This is bigger. Obviously, the night before, there was torrential rain. Underneath the tent, which they had put up the morning of their event, from what I understand from the plaintiff, was soaked completely with water. When you put up a tent,
Greenhouse
tent, whatever you may call it,
No, I mean when the ground is wet, and then you
Correct.
put up a tent. It's humid and
the musty mildew smell of the grass, the ground.
well, they could always roll the side things until the party, and then
They could have that day actually have a report from the weather from the 21st. 22nd to the 23rd, showing what the weather was.
And?
It actually brought us a cold spell. So the weather was very comfortable, very windy, at times gusting up to about 29 miles an hour.
Okay.
At that point, I did show the gentleman how to operate the unit. I was there approximately about 10 or 15 minutes after showing him. He agreed.
was it working then?
So, Your Honor,
Was it working then when he,
when he initially turned it on? No, it took about 10 minutes before it became cool.
and was he there that time?
Oh, he was there for at least 15 minutes, correct?
Okay, so he didn't leave until it was cool.
Yeah, he probably hung out about 5 minutes after to make sure it
it's
still was
cool.
cool, which it was.
All right, and is that true that it took 10 minutes to cool?
When you turn it on, I don't think you get the unit's here, actually. We could test it out.
I want to know what it did then.
The machine was working properly.
Okay. Turn it on. Let me see how it works.
Sure. The machine's actually set for the day of their event.
Pretty powerful. All right. When do you first find out there's a problem?
Plaintiffs threw a big baby shower for their second kid. Problem was, they said they rented an air conditioner that blew hot air and torpedoed the party. The defendant says it worked just fine. Let's listen.
I found out probably about maybe a half an hour, 40 minutes heading over into Brooklyn. A gentleman had called me.
Husband.
Correct.
And what does he say?
He told me that the unit wasn't working properly. He had a gentleman from the hotel look at it and said that it's just not working. So at that point, I said to him, I says, well, I'm in Brooklyn right now. I'm not going to make it back in time for your event over it so I can take a look at the machine and we'll determine what the problem was. So he says, well, we're not going to be able to use it. I want a refund. And I says, my policy is no refunds. I can give you a credit.
Well, no. Your policy is no refunds if people change your mind. But if people hire you to do something and it truly didn't work, you don't get to say no refunds. That's a breach of contract on your part, and you'd have to give a refund. Everybody understands that, right? Because I'm constantly hearing, well, I don't give refunds. Well, no, you don't give contract. So,
Right,
if it didn't work.
Right, we
if
didn't
it
determine.
worked, then, of course, then that's different. But if it didn't work, that would be a breach of contract for which everybody, even the non-refunding types out there, have to refund because they've done something wrong if it didn't work, okay? So go on.
We did speak again. I asked him if everything was okay going on. Is it working? No. At that point, he did put an engineer.
Right. I was going to ask, did you speak to any of the
He said he
personnel?
had an engineer there. I don't know if that was an engineer I spoke with. You could put anybody on the phone.
And that person told you this thing isn't working?
He said it's not working. And I asked him, I says, well, let's troubleshoot it. Is the compressor working? He said, I don't have time for that. I said, okay, I'll speak to the customer.
Okay. So when you got to Fox Hollow Hotel, okay, you get there when the party's going to end.
I was there after the party ended.
Okay.
I couldn't
and you
make it back in
expected to
time.
pick up your unit.
Correct, where I dropped it off, where it was rented.
Right. And you get there and there's no unit.
Prior to me getting there, I actually made confirmation with the gentleman that we would meet there and we would determine with a non-biased member from the hotel, myself and him, to check the unit if it's working or
Is
not.
that true?
No.
What do you guys end up doing? You end up taking the man's unit?
Can I tell you what happened? My party was over at 4:30, and as you see on that so-called contract, the invoice, he was supposed to pick up the unit at 4:30.
Let me see. Hold on. Must be dropped off at 10 and picked up at 4:30. Why weren't you there at 4:30?
I was stuck in Brooklyn.
Okay, well, all right.
By 4:35,
Why would somebody sit around? If I had a baby shower, was it a good baby shower?
It was great.
Were there tons of gifts?
I have pictures, by the way, if you'd like to
Okay,
see.
were there tons of gifts?
Oh, yeah. My
Okay,
baby
well,
got
I need
hooked
him
up.
to help me with the tons of gifts, and I need to be able to sit around with my husband and go, yay! Okay, so I really don't want him meeting you at 7, but according to you, he made a plan to meet you at 7. I don't know if that's true. It's very beautiful. Very beautiful. I don't know if that's true, not true, but I got to tell you,
You can see the unit in that picture as well in the corner, that it's not actually in the tent because we weren't able to use it. We had to open up the tent walls at that
All
point.
the walls were.
he thinks, what's your theory on this? You have a theory.
My experience is it was a beautiful day. Obviously, when you have the
That's not your
greenhouse
experience,
effect,
that's your testimony.
When you have
Okay.
the greenhouse effect in a unit in a tent that size, your guests are going to be unhappy. You're going to have the smell, and you didn't need the air conditioning at that point. So you have the fresh air coming in from the beautiful day that we had, which was
Well,
the
no matter
wind.
what, I'm sorry, hold on a second. It's a blue sky. I can see it from
Correct.
the pictures. She was never going to have the things down. How cool or hot was it that day?
It started out somewhat comfortable, but towards the second half of the party, the sun was really hot, and it was getting hot.
Well, when you get there, whatever time you do get there, at 7 o'clock, you do get to the hotel?
I arrived at the hotel probably around 7-ish.
What does 7-ish mean?
Between approximately 7 and 8.
Okay, why would you think he's going to be there 4 hours after the pickup?
Because the gentleman told me, I assured him that
When you get there, who do you talk to from the hotel?
I talked to somebody at the front desk, asked where my unit was. They didn't know what I was talking about. And at that point, I called the gentleman back. I told him, listen, he understood that we would have the unit here. He agreed with me 3 times throughout the day.
You called who back and said that? The
Plaintiff,
husband. Okay.
correct.
Why'd you take the unit home?
At 4:35, 5 minutes after my party, that everything was being completely dismantled because I had another party that was going to be in that area. And from what I saw on that invoice, I'm responsible for that equipment. That's what his terminology says. So since he didn't help, hold up his end of the bargain and he wasn't there at 4:30, I felt that I'm responsible for this piece of equipment.
It's true that your contract says that she assumes full responsibility for all rented items.
Right.
If that's the case and it's a portable item, I wouldn't leave it at the hotel either. What if somebody at the hotel steals it? Then she's got to pay for it.
Well, that's what the
How
hotel.
much does that unit cost?
Probably about $400.
Yeah, I don't want to pay $400.
If I may.
If you may, why would anybody answer my question? If you have a contract that says you're responsible for the item and returning it to me, and you can't make it for Brooklyn on the time you said you were going to make it for Brooklyn, and in fact don't make it until almost 4 hours later, why would she leave it behind? She wants to make sure it gets back to you.
I've never had a problem at a venue.
Yeah, but
I'm
here to tell you that I've been a judge for many years, and there's plenty of problems at venues. So, and this is the only one that pertains to her. So, and anyway, the hotel tells you what?
They tell me, the guy's not here. He's supposed to be at 4:30. We're not really going to be held responsible for this either. They didn't want to help responsibility for the air conditioner.
But then when you call him and you say, where are you? I thought we were going to meet here. What does husband tell you?
I said, you and I both know that the reason why you took the machine, which was if I didn't refund you your money, you were going to keep my machine. And he said, you're right.
So it all boils down to whether I believe the machine malfunctioned or I believe, as what you want me to believe, is that they are completely making this up because as it turned out, it was a fresh day and they didn't need it. So they're scammers trying to get $275 back.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I didn't get the machine back until later on in the evening.
How?
They wanted to safeguard the machine, but they were willing, they told the officer on the scene, they were willing to leave it out in their driveway for me to get it.
How did the officer get involved?
I had called the officer at the local precinct.
And told them what? My machine has been stolen. What did the officers tell you on the day of your baby shower?
So prior to the officer phone call coming, I get a phone call from the defendant telling me, I know where you live. I will come and get the machine. I have a 2.5-year-old at home. I'm 9 months pregnant. And
where's he?
He's with me, but I'm not having this guy come to my house.
Apparently, you don't make her feel very secure. Okay.
He did a great job of making me feel secure.
What good is he going to do? He's with me, but what?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Does the plaintiff get her money back if the room is hot, no matter what the defendant's excuses are?
Absolutely.
Why?
She paid for cool air and she didn't get cool air, and even if the room was hot.
But what if the room is like too big and the guy did? I mean, is it as simple as case closed once the room is hot?
Yes, if it's hot, then she should get her money back.
What do you think?
I don't think she should get her money back.
Why?
Because you can't have an opinion on the climate. I mean, if the climate is hot, it's hot.
But that's why you have an air conditioner.
I understand, but so what if it didn't work? She should get something, but she shouldn't get it all.
You're getting hot with me here, and I don't appreciate it one bit. Going inside the courtroom.
He knew that I was pregnant, and hormonally, I guess I was on another level at that point. So whatever it took to make me happy, he was like, okay, the guy doesn't have to come here. We can handle this another way.
How did you handle it?
I get a phone call from a police officer calling me from this gentleman's telephone, his cell phone. So I said, you know what? Let's go to the precinct, a neutral ground, and you guys can make the transfer there. We don't want his equipment. We just, wanted to get our refund.
All right. You have a statement from someone who purports to be an employee, I guess, of the Fox Hollow Hotel. Would not cool the air, so it was turned off and not able to be used for the event. Not that it wasn't cool enough for this size of a tent, but that it wasn't blowing cool air at all. So I'm not even sure the whole tent size thing is even relevant. It's because she's actually got the affidavit of someone from the hotel saying it wasn't even blowing cool air. What am I supposed to do with that?
I don't know what their statements were. Later on, picking up the unit, I wasn't able to get the unit checked out until the following day. I did have the unit checked out and it was working operational.
I want you to think a moment. This is her baby shower. It's supposed to be a happy day. She has this wonderful event. She has this blessed event coming up. She has a 2.5-year-old in the house. Do you really think that for $298, she's gonna buy herself your ire like this? Do you really think that these people are absolute lying scammers who have made up the malfunction, fabricated an affidavit from the hotel, it called you, had it all worked out during the guy's baby shower, during his wife's baby shower, his baby shower. He's gonna pick up a phone and call you and say it doesn't work. Hold on. I gotta work on that whole scam thing. Hold on. Call you, tell you it doesn't work. Come back, fight with you a couple more times on the phone. You know, you don't show up at 4. You don't have a chance to speak to anybody who knows what happened at the hotel because you don't show up for 4 hours later, and that I am not gonna refund these folks money. You can't possibly believe that. Because I am. $298.72, verdicts for the plaintiffs.
And so the plaintiffs win this case. Step on in here. The air conditioner man, what's your reaction to losing here?
It's a loss for everybody. Unfortunately, you know, they had a wonderful day for their event, and you know,
That's good.
It is. It is what it is.
That's what you would have wanted for them, to have a wonderful day, right?
I'm an easy guy.
So
you know?
in the end, you think they made up the whole story?
Judgment was made. What are you going to do? Thank you.
What are you going to do? All right, so step on in here. How you feeling about the outcome here?
I'm feeling that it
you
was
had to
very
go
fair.
to court to fight this?
Yeah, it was a little bit of an inconvenience.
Come on in.
I actually have my newborn baby in the back, and instead of feeding my baby, I'm over here trying to get back money that was due to me. So it's really not fair, but I'm glad that, you know, we did win this case.
Right, how did the whole day go, the shower?
That was excellent.
It was beautiful,
Excellent.
yeah. Except for that one little incident at the end, but I'll overlook that. It's not really
Make her
worth it.
feel a little more secure, will you? Get to work.
Oh, my, he's the
Get to work,
best.
will
I
ya?
feel very secure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
All right, Harvey?
You know what, bottom line here is that he has a lot of excuses, but the tent was hot, and the goal of the job was to make it cold, so he's got to lose. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.